Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you guys my Magus Oracle Think Tank deck profile for premium format, September 2018. Been wanting to get out a bunch of different premium deck profiles for you guys for the release of all the new support we have from the standard booster packs, where you basically mix in support of the new sets with the old decks and just come up with more stronger variants. And I thought the Magus deck with all the different Oracle Think Tank cards we received would definitely help. I wanted to go for more of a pure Magus, rely on most of the Magus skills themselves for this deck profile, with a little added help from some of the Magus cards that we got from the Unite Q4 booster pack. So let's go ahead and get started. We got the Stride Zone and the main deck to go through. So let's go ahead and begin. Now for the main Stride unit that you run in the deck, I run one who views the planet Globe Magus. I have 4 in here. Was considering bumping her down to 2, which I'll show what other Stride unit I would run 4 of instead of Globe Magus, just because she doesn't require a flip for her ability. Her ability is during your turn, if you have a heart with Magus in its card name, you may look at the top card of your deck and put it on the top of your deck. You can look at that card anytime, meaning you can look through the top of your deck even when you're drive checking. So if you get like a trigger, you can check the next card before you decide where the trigger power goes. So as long as you just have the top card of your deck, you have that power to check whenever you want with this. So it's one of your strongest strides to go for in the Magus deck for sure. And I only have 2 Ichi Kishima in the deck. I would want to run 4. She's a very powerful stride that can just stop G Guardians and grade 0 guards from all your attacks. So a definite 4 of, but I only have 2, sadly, of her. So probably most likely take out the 2 Globe Magus to add in 2 more of her in this deck. Like I said, there's no reason you'll have to go into Globe Magus 4 times in a game. She's just there to help set up your triggers. There are plenty of times, though, when you'll want to use Ichi Kishima, and then again, just to help push for your game wins. And I also run 2 Wakahirume. This is a card that lets you basically recycle your hand on top of your deck for the stride, for the power. The Oracle ability, which is you have to have, I believe, 5 or more cards. It's actually been quite a while, but I think that's what the Oracle ability is. You don't use Oracle too much with this deck, but still definitely does help, and you have to meet those requirements, obviously. So, like I said, you draw a card, then place a card from your hand on top of your deck, so you can reuse heal triggers, criticals, you name it, with this card. So very helpful indeed. And I also run 1 Kamususano. Helps with the hand replenishing whenever you need that option available to you. And the extra +5 in crit. There aren't too many Oracle Think Tank abilities that have extra criticals, so that's some more pressure with this as well, if you know what your opponent has Vanguard-wise. 4 cards in their hand. And also 1 Chief Deity Amaterasu. It's the GB8, and you unflip pretty much with all your G Guardians and your units in this, except for Globe Magus, so you can hit GB8 pretty fast, and then just have big power units and draw power with this version of Amaterasu. And I also run 1 Zeroth Dragon Ultima, United Sanctuary deck, and just being able to have big power to your rear guards and all your units, so definitely needed in the deck. And for the G Guardians, I run 2 Son of Eternity Amaterasu. This is probably your best plus 10k G Guard that you run in the deck. It helps build up soul. It also helps check the top cards of your deck, so you can't go wrong there with this easy plus 10 power. And I run 2 Ichi Kiyoshi just because of unflips for the Lozenji Magus Apex that I run. So the 1 is in here just for the easy +5 shield, but then the other one is most of the time just the cost fodder for the Lozenji Magus that I have that you can use to basically unflip for the cost. So 5 G Guardians in total, and most of the time you're just going to be using your strides to go into in the deck. But for the grade 3 lineup, I have 4 hexagonal Magus for my grade 3 lineup. She is the limit break grade 3 that you run the deck, but you break ride with her. But most of the time when I'm using my grade 3s, I just need a Magus name on the Vanguard to make use of for my Globe Magus. So most of the time I don't even use the effects of my grade 3s. If you wanted to run Pentagonal Magus, you can switch around some of your numbers with Hexagonal and Ring Magus, just because Pentagonal has that +5 extra critical that sometimes can come in handy, so you can mix around those numbers. But I do like Ring Magus because she is a rear guard and Vanguard effect for when it attacks. If you have a Vanguard with Magus, you may pay the cost. If you do, declare the card name and reveal the top card of your deck. If the revealed card card name is the correct one you declared, you put that card in your hand and it gets +3. So what's great about her +3 also is the fact that we're up against 12 and 13k vanguards now, so being able to hit on her own for a 14k power definitely does help when she is attacking by herself, and that's why I would definitely keep her at a 4 max, just because she has the vanguard and rear guard ability. So if you have to ride her on vanguard, you still have your stride options, but on rear she at least has an ability you can also use. And then for the grade 2s, tried to stay as true to the grade 2 lineup for the Magus as I could. So 4 Stellar, just great early game setup for knowing the top card of your deck, and then just having draw power for an easy counterblast. So she definitely does come in handy for that, and not being a GB also helps with that early game power. Same goes for the 4 Briolette Magus. This one just helps for setting up the top card of your deck. You Soul Blast. If you have an Oracle Think Tank Vanguard, you draw a card and put this unit on top of your deck. So you always know what the top card is when working with Briolette, especially when you have to get her off for some of the card effects other than that in the game. And the only standard grade 2 that I'm running is I run 3 Promise Daughter, over Rhombus Magus, just for basically they got the same power plus with Rhombus. You just have to know the top card of your deck, but Promise Daughter helps a little more since you have to have 4 more cards in hand for her to get the +6. She has the same 9k power as the other 2, like most of the Oracle Think Tank grade 2s that you want to run. So being able to hit for 15k definitely does help, and she has that effect that this unit cannot be retired due to your opponent's effects. So extra protection against a lot of those other decks like Narukami and Kagero for sure. And moving on to the grade 1s, I run 4 Circle Magus. I only have 2 of the new one. You definitely want to run the new version of Circle Magus compared to the old one in this deck, just for a much better ability that you can use. When your drive reveals a grade 2 or greater card, you may put this card on the bottom of your deck. If you do, draw a card. So just additional draw power for that rear guard. And then when rode upon, you counterblast 1 and draw a card. So awesome ride target as well, just to help with that draw power for sure. And most of the time, if you don't end up going for some of your other counterblast plays early game, you can at least rely on her for that draw power to come in handy for sure. So she's a definite 4 of the new Circle Magus for sure. And I was debating on if I wanted to run the new rare Magus Perfect Guard, but I really found no need to, so I kept in the Amino Sagiri. And the reason I'm not running the Draw Trigger Perfect Guard in this deck is because you really want to rely on the ability of Globe Magus. And if you ran draws, it kind of conflicts with just the power to search and know when your criticals are coming and where to distribute the power. Since you'll have the draw trigger on top, you won't really know what the ratios are until you use that draw trigger, which is why I like to keep just a 12 crit lineup in this deck, and why I just kept Amino Sagiri with the Perfect Guard position in this deck. And I also run 3 Divine Sword, Amino Murakamo. It's just stride fodder. Usually when you ride your grade 3, unless you call a Ring Magus to rear guard, you really don't have a use for your other grade 3s. So this and them can be the fodder for your strides, because strides are a very powerful part of this deck for sure. So you want to make sure that you can go for them. And I also run 3 Farfel Magus. This card basically replaced Circle Magus as your check the top card of your deck and then put it on the top or bottom of your deck. It's an 8k grade 1 as well. So when you don't go for Circle Magus for your ride and you have this option, just having that 8k grade 1 definitely does come in handy when you are going up against just other decks when they attack, just for guard pressure for sure. And still has the same effect as Circle Magus, so she's a definite run of in the deck otherwise. And for your starter, I was debating between Lozenji Magus, the new one where you ride upon her and draw, but I stuck to Semi-Lunar Magus as your starter. It has Forerunner, and put this unit into your soul. When it boosts, if you have a Vanguard with Magus in its card name, declare a card name, reveal the top card of your deck. If the revealed card is the card you declared, you may pay the cost. If you do, draw 2 cards. So over the draw 1 you would have gotten from normal Lozenji Magus. Semi-Lunar, just in my opinion, came in more handy since it gave you a draw 2, and you put it into the soul, but you never even get a rear guard with the other Lozenji Magus anyway. So just having to rely on this is much better, in my opinion, than if you were to rely on just the draw, and then no fear of this card being killed by your opponent for sure for rear guards. And then for the trigger lineup, like I said, I was going with the 12 crit, kind of mixed up my triggers from the premium and the standard. So running 4 of the new Oracle Guardian Knight, just because some of the other criticals we're running in the deck do have abilities that definitely do come in handy with a bunch of your other ones. But Oracle Guardian Knight was the one that didn't have one, so it just made more sense to put in the new version into the deck. Same with the crit that we kept in the deck. I kept Paisley Magus in. When this unit is placed on rear, if you have a Vanguard with Magus in its card name, look at the top card of your deck and put that card on the top or bottom. So just another Circle Magus effect. If you want to go for more shield options with your criticals, you can take out, you know, let's say this one, but we don't have that many criticals to work with, so I'd most likely keep Paisley Magus in. And if you wanted to go for more big, you know, 15k shields for criticals, take out the original Psychic Bird and put in the new one. It doesn't have the same ability as the old one, but I like for, you know, for that soul and draw power, so more than likely I myself would just keep this in to run, but it's more player based depending on what you want to use, obviously. And lastly, for the heal, which was another big thought of mine, thought of Lozenji Magus for the heal, for the recycle, but in the end, with all the different counterblasts for the strides, I put in Battle Sister Pulveron. This is the banish you remove from the game, basically, from your drop zone, and you bind it face up to countercharge and or soul charge. So you basically countercharge or soul charge, depending on what ability you want to go for. It just definitely does come in handy. Lozenji Magus kind of shuffles up the deck, which doesn't really affect Magus too much. So if you wanted to recycle and then reuse for G-Guards, you can obviously do that. But this just came up as the most preferred one. If you have Pulveron, run her just to help with the countercharge and the soul charging. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Also working on, you know, some more standard decks to bring to you guys. Definitely excited for some new ones we'll be getting later on in the year as well. And plus, also, if you have any recommendations on what some premium decks you want to see, please feel free to comment down below, and I'll be sure to look into to work on them. This is it for the video. Until next time, Kira Qualia out.